So my name is Bettina Sell from Firmus Advisory Limited, and I'm here with...
My name is Albert Kofi. I'm the Market Research Manager for Firmus Advisory Limited.
So earlier this year, we launched the Ghana Retail Map, which is an annual report on the Ghana retail landscape. And we're here to discuss the findings in the Ghana retail market in general. So Albert, give us an overview of the Ghana retail market.
Well, the market is still predominantly dominated by very small informal shops. We have the neighborhood shops, the open markets, as we know it. But all that changed in 2007 when Ghana discovered oil in commercial quantities. And that resulted in the economy expanding and we having more foreign investors coming in. And that is where the shops or the malls started coming in. We had the Accra Mall coming in, and then later the other malls also coming in. But we could say that predominantly we still have a bit more of the open markets, and then the corner shops, in the landscape.
So we can see that retail has evolved from the era of Old Lava to Whitechapel to Glamour. What do you think has changed so far, and what has caused this change?
Well, so I think from, like I mentioned earlier on, once the foreign players started coming in, and also coupled with internet penetration increasing, we had now people getting to know what is going on, globally. What the current trends are. The fact that you could sit in the comfort of your home and order things online and so on, that's also caused a lot of people to now to redefine the markets, to redefine how things play out in the market. So, and other shops also took advantage. You had other medium scale shops also, going out there to bring in stuff that people could order from here. People in Ghana could order online. People would now go and bring in these goods straight to the consumer here in Ghana. So it's been very dynamic and it's been fast developing.
Since the introduction of internet in 2000, what is the future of the retail industry? That's taking into consideration the payment systems, because we can see now that mobile money has been introduced and people also use debit cards and all that. So what do you think the future of the retail industry looks like? Well,
I think I will say that governments over the years have introduced policies to ensure that we have a cash light economy. And so we have government making sure that people use e-switch, for instance, and understand the government is putting in plans to make sure that if you want to do business with the government, you do it cashless. And so I think that over the years, the efforts that the government has put in has, really resulted in a lot more people now interested in using these online platforms for payments. And I think that if you look at the forecast, mobile money is expected to rise astronomically compared to other channels of payments. And also with the banks also now introducing more debit cards and other payment platforms coming up, it has given rise for people to now have access to these payment platforms. And I think that some of the retail shops are also adapting and making sure that they also have these payment platforms in their terminals to make sure that people are able to purchase with them. Yes.
Okay, so moving away from the payment systems, how do you think the consumer's lifestyle is influencing the retail sector? Do you think retailers are becoming more customer-centric? That is, they bring in goods based on the lifestyle of consumers, or they just stock based on what everyone is buying or what people will just order online?
Well, I think Ghana is a price-sensitive market. The best approach is to make sure that you research. I think a one-size-fits-all approach will not work. You need to look at the market and see what the lifestyle or what people like before you can just go. You cannot just bring in anything. So I think that the retail sector should rely more on data for decision making, so that you can actually forecast what the needs are. But like I said, they are adopting to current trends. The retail sector is adopting to current trends, and so definitely they should be able to see what the needs are or where the need areas are, and then they respond to it appropriately.
So investors are watching us now. Do you think there are any opportunities for them in Ghana, or the industry is already choked?
Well, the industry is, I won't say the industry is choked. Like I mentioned earlier on, before you enter the market, you need to look into the market, you need to research, and it's important to differentiate yourself from the existing players. What are you bringing on board? What new thing are you bringing? So you need to really look at the market very well, put it under the microscope and make sure that you find what's the needs, where the need areas are, where the gaps are. And if you look at it, it doesn't appear to me that we have so many e-commerce portals. Like, you can go to Amazon or Alibaba and shop, and they will deliver it to your home. Not all the shops have, these things out there. So I think that they need to look at it and really, position themselves in a way that people could actually sit in the comfort of their home, and purchase stuff. If you look at the traffic, there's a lot of traffic in town. If you live in Dansuma, you have to drive all the way to maybe the West Hills Mall, Accra Mall. Look at the traffic that you could be in. But if West Hills Mall has a proper, e-commerce site where you could just go buy stuff and they could deliver to you in no time, I don't think a lot of people will go to the brick and mortar shops. People will still be in the comfort of their homes and still purchase stuff and be comfortable.
So over the years, we see that some of the big retailers who set up in the country have left. What do you think has influenced? Is it because they didn't do a proper research before establishing, or probably their products are just not the right match for the Ghanaian market?
Well, that's it's a mix of both. Like I mentioned earlier on, research is very important. You need to have access to data for decision making. Before you set up in the market, you need to study the market and see what the trends are. Ghana, for instance, has a very young population. We have more than half of the population being millennials and Generation Zs. So they are the ones that hold the future. So your communication and all should target these demographics and make sure that your promotions are attractive to them. You make sure that you sell the experience more than the product. And I think that the retailers need to be a bit more innovative in these ways. So, for those who are closing down, it could be that, things didn't play out the way they expected. But it could also be that, they didn't really look at their markets research and targets them. And like I mentioned earlier on, Ghana is a very price-sensitive market. So your pricing should be in such a way that it could be affordable to the ordinary Ghanaian. So, it could be a lot of factors, but these are some of the things that I think could have caused that.
Okay, so I want to look at what Ghanaians are spending on. From your research and your reports, what do you find that Ghanaians were spending on?
Well, we had done an earlier research on what Ghanaians are spending on, which we published, I think 2 years ago, and that's also informed what the Ghana Retail Map, the maiden edition, should be on. And we found that a lot more spending is on food and beverages. Most of them are imported food and beverages. We have fashion, and then health and personal care, and then of course we have the mobile phones, computer accessories, and all. But generally, these three areas, food and beverages, health and personal care, and then fashion, the spend is both offline and online. We have some figures on spend online, although we could say that the spend in the offline shops are more, but you could see a gradual shift towards online. We see a lot more people trying to create pages on social media to promote their merchandise. And so basically most of them are, like I said, these three categories of products: food and beverages, health and personal care, and then fashion items. Yes.
Finally, we want to look at the case of Forever 21. Forever 21 was one of the biggest fashion retailers in the USA. They were occupants of most of the malls in America. And the mistake they made was when everyone was moving towards e-commerce, they kept on opening shops. So, Mr. Kofi, we're in a world of technology where everything has been digitized and everything has been made easier. How do you think this is going to influence or impact the retail sector moving forward?
Well, I think our Made in Ghana Retail Map report was appropriately themed. The theme is digitize or die. What it means is that, I mean, there's a shift towards online. You know, a lot more transactions are happening online now. And so, like they said, advertising, running a business without advertising is like winking at a girl in the dark. You only know what you are doing. And so, if you are not online, it's as good as you winking at a girl in the dark. Nobody knows what you are doing. So there's a shift. I mean, globally, you see that everyone is moving online, and so you need to adjust quickly. You need to make sure that you make yourself visible in that space, and that is what will make you, thrive in the market. And there's a lot of competition going on. So people are looking at, I mean, you could look at even mechanics are also now going online. I mean, artisans are advertising online, so why not a retail shop? So the theme is for this year is to digitize or die. If you don't digitize, you're definitely going to phase out. So the case of Forever 21 is not surprising to us because there was a shift and they were slow, and so because of that they had to fall off. So the lesson here is digitize or die.
Thank you, Albert, for your insights on the Ghana Retail Map. So the Ghana Retail Map, as we've seen, has findings and insights on the Ghana retail industry. And from our discussion, we can see that digitization is the way forward. And we say you either digitize or die. So follow us on all our social media handles, on Facebook at Firmus Advisory, Twitter at Firmus_advisory, and on LinkedIn at Firmus Advisory. Or you can send an email to nakumson@firmusadvisory to get a sample report. Thank you very much.